So, for people who don't know me, I'm a coder who can code in Python and C#. And I recently found out that you can code in EV3 using Python. So naturally, I had to try it out. And here is documenting my experience. Okay, so what you see on the side is a time lapse of me building the robot. Before we can begin, we need to do three things. We need to, of course, build the robot, which I've already done, get all the software running, and be able to code it from our computer. Let's go! Okay, so we're already done the first step. Very nice. So first, what I did is I went to these two links to download the image and to download Balena Etcher. I don't know too much about it, but all I know is that you can flash stuff with it, and you need to flash the file and put it on the micro SD card. The reason you need a micro SD card is that's the only thing that fits into the robot. And what this will allow us is to run a software that can run Python. Okay, so then after that, I directly went into VS Code and then I got the extension. I already downloaded it for you, but if you wanted to know, this is how you could get it. So we're done all of the preparation and now it's time to get on to the actual coding. So for this, I'll be doing this mission. So the rules are simple. I can position my robot anywhere inside of the white portion, and I have to position that tire exactly there. And I have to pick it up and come back. So this is gonna be day one, documenting my experience. So I first started off by introducing the motors into the code, and I was going to be using something called drive base. Welcome to Coding 101. You see, most of the time when you code big projects, you don't do all of the work. What I mean is that you use something called libraries, which, to keep it simple, basically means you use code that other people have already made. And this just makes things way easier. So this motor and this drive base is classes, which are a huge part of libraries. And inside of libraries, there are classes. Inside of classes, there are defines. And this is the most important things. These actually tell it what to do. So I tried creating this walk function, which didn't work out. As you can see, this would happen. And so anyways, I found out what happened. Apparently, the continuous checking of the angle severely slowed down the motor. So that happened. But anyways, I found this really cool website with everything I needed. Woo! So we found it, and now we just need to incorporate it into our code. I scrapped the walk idea, but I didn't delete it because it could be useful later. And remember how I talked about classes and stuff? That was in it. That was a huge lifesaver. But let's just talk about the walk function for a bit since I've been putting that off. So you may notice somewhere in the middle that there's this new settings function. So let me just talk about functions in general. Basically, they allow you to do stuff with them. You can put in some input and you can get out some output. Or you can make it do stuff for you. So let's take this settings example. What you need to know here is something called global, which can be explained on the top of the screen. Anyways, there's something that you need to know, and that's functions run first in a code. That's why it's super useful, because you can just put it anywhere and it wouldn't really mess up your code. But because of this, you need to now activate it in each of the functions since you can't do it outside of it. So that's why I had to make this settings function. And that's because it can now globalize everything. And once I put in the walk function, we won't have any syntax errors. Syntax errors are basically just confusion errors. Whenever it gets a result that it doesn't understand, or when it gets something that is looping back on itself. There are also many other ways that syntax errors can be made. for example, when a code cannot be functioned because it doesn't have the libraries for it. But these are the ones that you're going to encounter the most. So you know why we have the settings function and the walk function. The walk function is basically to move forward. But let's just explain it first. Basically, these two loops that you see, they're supposed to mean the negative one and the positive one. Since I wanted to put it in a degree, and since I knew I wouldn't be using 0, I didn't have to put that loop in. But I wanted it to be that if I put a negative number, it has to be rotating until it's less than that number. Or if it's positive, it has to rotate until it's more. Because -6 and -2, if you compare them, -6 is less than -2. But if you take the whole positive numbers, 6 and 2, 6 is actually greater, so it flips around. And that's what I had to incorporate. And you may also notice that there are these green hashtags. What this means are comments. These can also be written as 3 quotation marks followed by your message and then 3 quotation marks. And this basically just allows us to keep track of things. And remember how I was talking how classes are just so powerful? Well, the drive-based class is just so powerful by inputting the diameter and the axle track and putting in other stuff, for example, the motors. You can be able to specify what distance you want to go. This is severely different compared to the block code version. Anyways, I'm done explaining the functions, and now I need to explain where we're going on with this. So once I've done drive base and I can move forward, now it's time for day 2. I'm really tired, and now we basically have all of the building blocks. Day 2! So I think we're done mostly everything, and I just needed to piece everything together. So I started on making the raw code work, and once I was done that, I started working on making things look a little better. And you can see we're just slowly finishing up coding. And we're done. It's time to reflect. Here's the outcome of all of the coding we did. Okay, so we just finished the code, and now it's time to run it. So here we go. Yes! Got that beep sound we coded in. And there we go. It got the tire. So this is live, and we worked really hard on this. We have all of the imports, and we have all of this code. By the way, you can find this in the description of this video. And we have everything. This took 2 full days and was definitely worth it. Let me know if you want to see more of these videos. And anyways, do be sure to subscribe and like. If you want to contact me, you can contact me at retainedfromthegame@gmail.com. And if you want more lessons, feel free to tell me in the comment section below. I'd love to hear any suggestions. Also, this took a lot of time to not only code, but also to edit this incredibly long video. So, if you haven't already, subscribe and like, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye!